Sometimes we have to do do-overs. Yes. So you know what? The thing is that I think it's so oftentimes that the people that are most accessible to us, we take them for granted. And it's the fatal flaw of everything we do. You know, here she is in our backyard. We have one of the most wonderful human beings, greatest examples in the industry that we've ever seen. And she's so humble. Have you noticed that about Denise? Mm-hmm. She is one of the most humble, kind servants you're ever going to meet. But the reality is, she is a powerhouse. So for the next few minutes before we wrap this up, pay very close attention. Thank you, Denise.
Your mother and young okay, so first off, have you guys seen this? See the change?
Yes.
So this is another tool, English, Spanish, pretty cool. This will be coming out quarterly, and so you should get your hands on one of those. See the change. There's a great article about Doc in there. Anybody who is committed, either in your heart or physically already signed up for the convention in Dallas, I'll give you one. There's a really particularly great article on page 12. But Denice should know. And, you know, if you are committed to growing your business, then you're committed to. And from a publication standpoint, Working Times magazine is really awesome. You can either get it in the magazine form or you can get it online. And then, like Juliette was saying, number 7, promoting events. Eric Worre says that if you're going to get really, really, really savvy at one thing, get really savvy at promoting events. And so I would say that the one thing that you cannot miss is going to Dallas and going to the 20th convention, 20th annual convention is going to be over the top. And it's so important that Michelle's not even doing a women's retreat this year, because they're focusing all of their energy and time and money on the annual convention in Dallas. So by hook or by crook, you've got to get to Dallas. And what's great about it is that for us, it's doable just to drive down. So get together with some people and just drive down and make it a thing. It's so funny. I think Jules said that Tom, one of the first times that he met Tom said, I love you. And I always, when Tom and I first started dating, so he was like everybody that I've been in a relationship with, like I was always the first one to say, I love you, you know, which is like always that scary moment. And so Tom and I have been dating, and all of a sudden he says, I love you. And I'm like, oh my God. And it's like, this is awesome. I didn't have to say it first, you know? So then we go to the gas station to get some gas. And he goes, we go in to pay, and he goes to the guy, he goes, love you, man. And I was like, oh God. Not to take away from that moment from Joel, but and like the guy was so that's why we love Tom. So when Joel asked, who's, you know, the years that people have been in longevity. When I met Tom, Tom was distributor number 116 in longevity. At the time, it was called American Longevity. So I'm married into the business, and so I've been here 19 years. And when he stood up, everybody was like, who is that kid? He stood up and he said, you've been in for 5 years. And really, he's been in for 19 years and has been a product of the product for 19 years. Dominic, stand up. That's my son, Dominic. And when he was probably 5 or 6 years old, we're in the Suburban and we're listening to a Dr. Wallach cassette tape. That takes you back. And Dominic goes, all of a sudden, he's like 5 years old, and he goes, hey, Mom, what's essential fatty acids? You know, he likes to this day and knows, you know, how important nutrition is because of Dr. Wallach. So the other thing is that you don't realize what your kids hear, even on a subliminal level. And, you know, when we listen to, not only to Dr. Wallach, but when we listen to, like Juliet was saying, when we plug in a motivational CD, they're listening. You know, they're a part of it. Everybody's getting hungry. Everybody's breaking out their keto bars. So, but I'm going to be fast. So here's the thing. Over the last 19 years, Tom and I, our focus has always been the business, because we believe that almost everybody out there is in need of financial stability, right? And the focus has always been on business builders. But the problem is that when you first get into longevity, you may have a really great product testimonial, and you're a little scared to talk about the business because you haven't had that success yet, right? You have a great product testimonial, but you haven't had any business financial success with longevity yet. And so, but we tell you, go out and, you know, show the plan, show the plan. Well, what about this? What about starting out with customers? Because here's the thing. Volume is volume. It's volume if you enroll a product user. It isn't volume if you enroll a business builder. Am I right? Right. So it's funny. So I started a few months ago. No, it was like years ago. The way my mind works is I go, hey, what about, so a few years ago I thought, what if you just, from a business standpoint, what if you just enrolled one person a month and then you duplicate that? So you enroll one person a month and they enroll one person a month, and then their people enroll. What does that look like? And so I'm such a nut that I actually drew it out. And it got really crazy really, really fast. But do you want to know what that looks like?
Yes.
So if you just enroll one person a month and you teach that duplication, look, that's all I want. I want you just to enroll one person a month and you teach that down line. How many people do you have in your organization at month 6? Any math whizzes? We just saw that Hidden Figures movie last night about the African American women who are computing for NASA. Is unbelievable. Take your daughters. So month 6, you have 63 people in your organization. 63 people at $150 a piece is $9,450 in volume. Just by teaching enroll one, right? That's a business builder. So then I thought, what about if we just talk about customers? What does that look like? And Alex Tice has been so great talking about retention. So that's the other piece of this is the numbers don't work unless you retain these people, right? So if you just enroll one customer a month, And you don't even, and that doesn't even get duplicated down line. It's just you, just enrolling one customer a month. In 12 months, you obviously have 12 people. Shut math! I need a calculator for that. So 12 times 150 is $1,800 in business. That's, how doable is that? Totally doable, right? So if you enroll 2 people a month, 24 people, that's $3,600 in volume. If you enroll 4, so if you just enroll 1 customer a week, what does that look like? At the end of 12 months, you'll have 48 people in your business, and you'll have $7,200 in volume. Nikki?
And now those customers count towards
Everything.
Right?
Yes.
Not
Not carbon.
Not carbon, but can count towards maintenance.
And they're all on your top line. So the volume's high and tight, which is what we need for the comp plan. Is that cool enough? So we get so, like for me, I've been so focused. I have to, I shouldn't say this on the camera, but I've never enrolled a customer, ever. Shh. But 65% of our business in longevity is customers for Tom and I. It's never made sense to me to enroll a customer because I always thought, you know what they're going to get great results from the products, and then they're going to want to be able to share it with their friends and family, and I want them to be able to make some money. So, but you know what? Here's the thing. Most people don't enroll anybody. You guys are the cream of the crop here. You're the exception to the rule. So if we look at customers as part of a really important part of our business, 65%, the average first order of people in our business, in Tom and I, in our business, is $176. Average first order. It's not 150, it's more. Isn't that shocking? So you have to look at customers as a really important part of your business, because a lot of people, like Juliet was saying, a lot of people don't really see themselves as salespeople. Now, we're smarter than that. We know you don't have to be a salesperson. We know it's all about relationship building. But when you start talking about, you know what, switch where you shop, to use some of our products. We have unbelievable products. That's a pretty easy sell. So let's see what else. And we have all these, like Marianne was showing you, use that health evaluation to sell the products. How simple is that? So now you have another tool. Okay. Yeah, that's it. Love you guys. I'm going to Marianne. If you're going to Dallas, or you're committed to going to Dallas, to making it happen, go get one of those from James and Marianne. The box is right.
Oh, okay.
All right, everybody.
Oh, wait, here.
What?
Oh, I have a gift for everybody. Don't get
Good
it's not
calling.
Oh, I thought we were getting presents.
Here's the new comp plan,
Oh,
which
important.
is changing over February 1st. I'm kind of a weirdo because when we changed 6 years ago, what I did is I made flashcards and I just shut up. I did. And I tested myself. I was like, okay, I can't even remember what the previous
I can't either.
We did have a diamond. And then we had like Tahiti, Fiji, anyway. But so what I did on the top is I put the old ranks above the new ranks so that, and it's on the back as well.
Stay here for a second. So, how many of you have never heard us speak before, Denise and I? Many of you? Oh, that's not. All right, good. I was going to tell you a joke, but you're done. All right. All right, so we're going to get you out of here now. We are going to do another training here on Saturday the 18th. Now, you're jammed in here, and I know you're going to bring more people. Do you want to jam it?
Saturday the 18th of February?
February. So, and then by then we're gonna have an entire schedule for you for the rest of the year. Oh God, it just lovely. That was one heck of an idea by me. That was Scott's idea. Or Marianne. Somebody.
It was Marianne.
So here's what you need to know about me. I do nothing and I take credit for everything. So if I ever tell you I'm going to do something, it's going to get done. I mean, it's going to get done in 2 seconds. And then you're going to call me up and say, Tom, you are the greatest, and I'm going to go, thank you. But the truth of the matter is I didn't do it. I just sent a text to whomever it was that was going to do it. And it's normally James or Marianne, because you know, I get that 4-letter word back from with another 3-letter word behind it from Denice. If I send her one of those texts, she just responds quickly, but it's not very nice. So I can't boss her around, but I can these two. So if you need something, that's that simple. I want to send it to you. So we're going to do that on the 18th. Do you guys want to do it here, or do you want to do it down in Loveland?
We need bigger space. We need more space.
You want to do it in Loveland at that Embassy Suites?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so say yes.
Yes.
Okay, so what we're going to have to do is charge you $10 a piece. Say yes.
Yes.
Because here it's free, you know, so we're trying to save you money, but it's also you're sweating like dogs and you're all naked, which is no good. So that's for the people on Zoom. All right. So I promised you the schedule, Saturday the 18th. Nikki hit the nail on the head when she talked about bringing people to meetings. Nothing's worse than bringing people to a meeting, your best prospect in the world, and all of a sudden seeing their next door neighbor there. And you know in your heart of hearts that they're going to go home and join with their next door neighbor. However, if you had this person enrolled, completely tucked in, and they came to the meeting, you would be able to have them look at their next door neighbor and say, tough luck. Should have talked to your next door neighbor. So she hit the nail on the head, and we're going to train that deeper because it's an important conversation, because that's what this is. This meeting, this Saturday training is a reinforcement. The Tuesday night meeting here, the Wednesday night meeting in Denver with Mark Stallings. Mark, you're doing a heck of a job down there. The meeting with Scott Barduas down in Loveland, I mean, it is killing, and it's going everywhere. We need somebody to take on Greeley, really with some vengeance. We need somebody to take on Colorado Springs, and we just got to build this thing up. What's that?
Alice Brewer.
Oh, Alice Brewer in the store in Evergreen. Well, where are you, Alice? I mean, you are a rock star. You're just doing an insane job up there, and thank you. Yeah.
My hometown.
Yeah, Denice is a, yeah, the Evergreen Beavers. What was their team? Who are they? Who are they? Evergreen somebody. What?
Cougars.
Cougars. I'm sorry. That's actually more apropos in this day and age. All right. All right. Okay, so there's somebody in this room that's going to know I stole this quote from 2 weeks ago, but not very many of you will. My prayer for you is not that you become senior vice chairman. That's not my prayer for you. My prayer for you is that you have the desperation to become a senior vice chairman. You need that gift of desperation. You need to believe that that is the only way out. And once you paint that picture in your head and you burn all the bridges behind you, and this business is hard, and I'm not telling you to quit your job. So the fact of the matter is, you need that gift of desperation. That's how we became successful. We had to do it. And going into that, this is my speech that I did. Oh, another thing before we get there. Somebody texted me and said, why do you have nothing but women speakers today? And I texted back because I said, because the women are the ones that earned the stage and rank advanced and brought the rain. It's the women that did it, not us old men. So congratulations, women, and give them. Put that one in your pipe and smoke it, Mrs. Barduas. So, all right, so my screen just turned off, but I want to tell you about this overnight success named Tom Chenault. Because I just know that you guys know that when I was born, my mother just said, look at this beautiful baby. funny. It's a multi-level marketer. It didn't happen that way. It was far from that way. I worked, and this is my presentation that I did, and then I got this really snazzy pen that I loved. That I lose. They're $100 a piece, and I am just helping Apple stock like it's going out of stock. But you can just put your presentation up, and then you can mark it up, you know, and that's the whole deal. So it's really, really cool. And then when you do something stupid like that, you can just hit that button, and it all disappears. So it is the coolest thing going. But that's my speech, and then I put my notes on top of that for today. But here's where I came from, just so you know how successful I've been. I have been trying to find my best me all my life. I've been trying to find what I could be passionate about all my life. And I've gone some crazy ways. My first job was at Littleton Landscaping, and we walked out into the yard with a guy, I'll never forget it. I'd worked really hard to get this job, and the hard work of getting the job was getting the courage to ask for the job. He ran an ad, but I was too scared to walk in and ask the guy. And I walked in, and he hired me. We walked to the back. He said, what are you doing? I said, I'm looking at all this junk. And he goes, you just called all my stuff junk. I go, I know, because you're fired. I lasted 1 minute at that job. So that was good. So then I was the dishwasher at Jose's restaurant, and it paid like $1 an hour. And they had to fire me because it was also all you could eat. And I just ate them out of house and home. So then I worked at the Denver Water Company. And this is a great story. I wasn't going to tell you this story till you just brought this one up. So, I was such an alcoholic, but my dad's best friend got me the job, and he ran the Denver Water Department. So all these guys that had worked there forever had, this is a terrible story that I'm going to tell you. I was going to tell you one that was funny, but I'm going to tell you even one more horrible. So this guy named Fred Hassel could not fire, he was the boss, so they couldn't fire me. And I was just horrible. So they just finally said, okay, Tom, you get down in that ditch, and so the pipe, a water pipe is that big around, and it weighs tons, right? And they put it on a crane, and then they put the chain in the middle, and there's a guy at one end, and he swings it, and then there's another guy with the other end of the thing with the lubrication, and that's kind of the specialized job, and he aims it right into the slot. So what the guy does is he yells, pull, and then you pull and let it go. So this guy named Chief had been working there forever, and so I thought he yelled pull. Oh. And I chopped off his finger. His finger was right there. You know what? Once it seats, you can't open it back up. So poor Chief lost his finger. Is that horrible? Yeah. Do you want the best news? They still didn't fire me. It was unbelievable. So that was another. So then I get a job at the Boys Club. You guys know what a Boys Club is? Where all the little juvenile delinquents go? And the guy goes, you're the athletic director. I go, great. So I go in and we teach boxing to these little 14-year-old kids. So I'm teaching boxing to these kids that were like tough. And I'd leave work every day just beat to a pulp because they were better boxers than me. So, but I managed to not get fired. So then a guy spotted me and said, you are an absolute charismatic alcoholic train wreck looking for a place to happen. And he hired me to run his restaurant. And I worked literally 100 hours a week for years and really learned how to motivate people for no money, like you guys. And so, you know, just an unbelievable career in the restaurant business. Managed to get fired. Went to Wilson's White Fence. That was the Crestwood in Littleton. Then I went to Wilson's White Fence Farm. Totally bankrupted them. And then I went from there. So then they weren't good enough for me. So I went to a place called the Chicago Speakeasy, which was owned by a bunch of gangsters. And that was more my style. And got in all kinds of trouble with alcohol there. So one of the customers from the Chicago Speakeasy was a gangster. And he owned an oil company. So he made me an oil company salesman in his life of crime and put me in the middle of that without me even realizing it. And so that was horrible. I got fired. So I had to go back to the restaurant business. And this Denice over on Colfax in Denver hired me. And I'll never forget, he looked at me and said, I think you're an alcoholic. I go, you're crazy. You go, no, you're an alcoholic. I go, no. And he goes, you're never going to get another job in the restaurant business because the people that can afford you don't need you, and the people that need you can't afford you. and you're going to screw things up for everybody. You got to straighten out your life. So I said, oh my God, I need to change my life right now. So I came home and I said, Dad, I think I need to change my life. The restaurant business isn't for me. Everybody drinks in the restaurant business. So he said, well, you need to sell something to rich people. So my last name is Chenault. And there's a famous aviation guy in the air named General Claire Chenault. So I said, okay, good. And I became a drunken airplane salesman. So on Monday, I would go hop in the airplane and disappear for a week trying to sell airplanes. And I would literally fly it from bar to bar. I mean, it was horrible.
You didn't know how to fly.
I'm still a terrible pilot. Ask Scott, Juliet. It's unbelievable. But business was so bad at the airplane business, because who wants to buy an airplane during the oil crash? So I would fly home, and I was a busboy at the Aurora Summit restaurant just to feed my family. So that was crazy, because my office was in Billings. I'd sneak home, work at the restaurant, and then fly back. So there's a point to this whole story. So then they said, Tom, you're an alcoholic. You're going to kill somebody in those airplanes. So, and I'll tell you guys a few airplane stories someday. But then I became a stockbroker. And because I've been trained by Beach Aircraft Corporation, I was an unbelievable stockbroker. And it was the penny stock market in the 80s, and it was just the wild, wild west. And I've been trained to sell an airplane that you could see that was $2 million that people didn't really want. And here I came down here and I was selling stocks, and you didn't have to. You could make up any story you wanted. It was horrible, and I was unbelievably successful at it. In 1988, I was going to read you a list of all the stock brokerage firms I got fired from, but it was a long list. And so the reason I'm telling you all this is because I wasn't born a multi-level marketer, and I kept getting beat to a pulp. And finally, I drank myself out of the stock business. And I got sober. And when I got sober, I had to figure out something. And so I opened up a newspaper, and out came a piece of paper. And the piece of paper said, but in the interim, after getting fired out of the last stock brokerage firm place, I have all the time I want, don't I? So anyway, after getting fired out of the stock brokerage business, I weighed 400 pounds. I was purple. I was scared to death, but my ego was this big, so I was that guy. And I hated myself, so I hated everybody even more. And I'm trying to find a job at brokerage firms, at businesses in Littleton, at friends of my parents, at Taco Bell. Everybody's telling me I'm unemployable. No one will take a shot at me, even though I thought I was the greatest thing in the world. No one would take a chance on me. And I opened up a newspaper, and it said, the piece of paper that fell out said, unlimited income. Oh, by the way, I also lived in Columbine Country Club with no money. I mean, I'm like just robbing Peter to pay Paul, desperately looking for somebody to hire me, and nothing's working. This piece of paper falls out. It says, unlimited income opportunity. I'll take that. But the next two were the ones that absolutely sealed the deal. No credit check. No background check. I go, we are in business. So I call the guy. He goes, no, I'll send you some information. I go, no. Where do you live? He goes, it was Eric McKelvey was his name. He goes, oh, we live over here. I go, I'm on my way to your house. I'll never forget it. I get over to his house. It smells so much like cats. I'm like holding my breath, and I'm purple. And so it's and I'm sitting there listening to the pitch, and I buy five skincare kits from New Skin, right? And so the 5 kits come, and it cost me a lot of money, and I think like $600. And I wrote the check, and I left, and I called McKelvey on the way out of there, and I said, listen, man, if I need more of those kits, am I going to be able to get them? He says, he used to laugh. He goes, because nobody ever sells 5 kits. And he says, yeah, we'll be able to get you the kits, but I could just feel him roll in my eyes. The truth of the matter is I sold those kits before I got to the next meeting, because I'd written a hot check, and I had to get those. True story. So we can call a guy named Gordon Burr right now. He's our friend, and Denice and I just talked to him. And we'll go to his house. He lives in Castle Pines to this day. And he'll go downstairs, And he'll say, Tom, are you still doing this deal? And I go, what? And he brings up the new skin skincare kit. And it's got like this much dust on it. I go, Gordon, are you an idiot? Why do you keep this kit all these years? Why didn't you use this? He says, I bought it because I knew you would never leave. And I know that every time you're coming over to my house, you're trying to sell me something like this, and I want to have that in front of me to remind me. That was my reputation. But I set every record that you could possibly set in Nu Skin just for enrollment because that was my MO. I thought I was supposed to sign all these people up. And that's what I did. I signed everybody up. No one bothered to tell me it wasn't signing people up had nothing to do with success in this business. It had everything to do with making people successful. So now I'm on the stage in that company and I'm making about $5,000, $6,000 a month, and I'm something called a Diamond Qualify. And I'm standing on the stage, a sober man, but I'm lying every day because I'm buying my paycheck to keep those legs alive. And I just know if I continue living this lie, I'm going to start drinking again. So I got out of there and I went to a couple more companies, a company called Momentum, a company called Body Systems, Prepaid Legal, and I just kept working. And I kept working, and I got to the top of a couple more companies. And I'll never forget this guy named Bill Shepard. He was an old stockbroker friend of mine, and he owned a company that he ended up burying us all in. But something he said to me was profound. He said, Tom, he said, you're gonna be okay in this business, and you're gonna be able to sign people up in this business, and you're gonna be okay. You know, everybody's gonna talk about you, but you're never gonna be successful because you're such an arrogant jerk. And he said, all you do is talk about yourself. All you do is care about yourself. You're always on the stage. It's all Tom, 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 and nobody gives a darn about Tom, Tom, Tom. You've got to make it about other people, or you're gonna fail. And somehow, and that's a tough speech from somebody. Somehow I heard it, and I shifted that day. And the rest is history. And I'm going to tell you guys, all you need to do is be your best you. You don't have to be like Scott. Scott Hardy was when we were just in the back. He goes, oh, shh, Tom. I need to be your accountability partner. I go, what? He goes, did you see me on that screen? I go, yeah. He goes, did you see my stomach? I go, yeah, about made me throw up in my mouth. He says, I want you to have that stomach. I go, no, Scott, I'm 65 years old and I'm your grandfather. But the good news is I can tell him that. And I can be, and he loved me. That's why he said that to me, by the way.
I paid him.
My wife paid him to say that. So that is so funny. Oh, by the way, that is such a lie. She is so waiting for me to kick the bucket so she can marry Sam Keene. It's unbelievable. This is the new ambassador pin right here, so I want you guys to see that. I forgot his number. But be your best you. Stop trying to be what everybody else is trying to get you to be. And if somebody tells you to sell the Rev or the keto bar, and you need to be the Rev or the keto bar or whatever, the fit shake or the bone marrow or the bone, forget it. If that's not what you're passionate about, that's what's so beautiful about longevity. Because, oh God, my screen died.
2 minutes.
We're going to be here for hours. So here's the deal. So here's what I get to do now. I get to get passionate about what I'm passionate about. And I get to look over at Brittany and look at what she's passionate about. I get to look at Linda and see what she's passionate about. I get to look at Marinko and see what he's passionate about. I get to look at Nikki and see what she's passionate about. I do not have to push Tom Chenault's pig through the python snake. Does that make sense to you? I get to have you choose what you're going to build a business on and go. Here's your choices. I love this picture, though. I am definitely not an overnight success. So here's the deal. Health and wellness. Health and body packs. You can get passionate about that. Healthy weight loss. Liquid nutrition. Plant-derived minerals. Aromatherapy. Essential oils. Fashion and jewelry. Hair care. Spa and personal care. Coffee. Energy drink. Sports drink. Healthy chocolate. Wholesome foods. Home and garden. Pet care. Scrapbooking. David Allen Capital Loans. Longevity Telecare, Cart Ripple. You can grab any one of those and build a business on it. Do you guys understand that? And if you can't get passionate on any one of these, call the Undertaker. I swear to you. And my passion is hope. My passion is hope. All of this stuff is great, but my deal with God is I help alcoholics, homeless people, and drug addicts. That's my deal with God. And my deal with God is such that you do that, Tom, and you never turn your back on any of those people, I'm going to help you make a living. So my whole day, every day, is interviewing people to find out where they are in their life so I can serve them. Because that's all you're here to do is serve. And these 7 things right here, and I'm almost done, are how I get up every day and live my life. And those of you are the ones that are rolling their eyes when I get done with this are the ones that don't know me. The ones that do know me are going to know this is true. And anybody that knows me that wants to say that's not who I am publicly in this room has permission to do so. Because if I've ever let you down, I have violated who I am at my very core. So number 1, I am not the center of the universe. Other people are. I need to remember that every day. Number 2, I have to realize that paying attention to other people's lives is the secret to success. Number 3, I understood that in conversation it's far better to be interested than interesting. Number 4, judging by the 4 people that just walked out of the room, I'm not doing very well. Number 4, I made a commitment to map literally every person we come into contact with each day. And I'm going to teach you how to do that one of these days at a level you're never going to believe. Number 5, made a conscious decision to move my emphasis from what's in it for me to what's in it for you. Think from there. Number 6, realize the more we contribute to the lives of other people, the more that's going to be given to us. And number 7, made a vow that in every meaningful interaction that I have with another human being, that they're going to leave feeling better about themselves than they did when they got there. That's the way to live your life. Go home. Here comes the before and after. Here comes the after. Come on, after. Get over here, after. I love this man. I love all of you. I love those of you that came to this meeting that didn't want to. Because I know a few of you are in here that didn't want to come. And I love you for that. This is like that thing. What is that thing, that machine that you buy? The shaker thing. I'm not sure. What's that called? I don't remember what's that called. That thing, huh? Huh? I don't recall, but it's cool. All right. You love me? Yep. I am not duplicatable. You want to be your best self. That might not be duplicatable, but you stay in the system. And if you aren't duplicatable, but the things that you're saying are, you still win. So don't be a bunch of conformists. Have fun with it. He's going to close this thing out. I love you guys.
Hey, thank you everybody for being here today. For those of you that are relatively newer to longevity or haven't been here in a while, please know this. It's Ritter, it's Denice, and Juliet, and Tom, and myself in the exact same room. Is that true for those of you that have been here for a while? Yeah, it's very rare. So it is very special for us, and hopefully it's very special for you. Please don't take this for granted, guys. Please, if you do anything, walk out of here with intent today. Walk out of here with a resolve that today and tomorrow you're going to do something different than you've done coming into this day. If we don't do that, then all this is for naught. It's completely for naught. So let's be different. Let's stand up. Let's get bold. Let's get vivacious. Let's get hungry. Let's dig deep. No excuses. Let's just go take charge of our future. So thanks for being here today, guys.
Thank you. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye. Thanks, Scott.
It's a good day. It's a good day. Yeah.
It's a very good day. Thank you.